And then the medical device for an hour and a half broke down the nuances of all the organs. It has great opportunities to become a top-class specialist in its field that will be provided with clients for life. I cannot imagine the further development of sports medicine and the enhancing the efficiency of athletes without these techniques. This is the highest technology. There are high technologies, and this is the highest one. This is the image of the doctor, the image of the clinic. And this equipment allows us to constantly develop, because if we don't develop, we come down. This is not disease medicine. This is health medicine. The Institute of Practical Psychophysics was founded in 1990 by the president of the International Academy of Nonlinear Diagnostic Systems, a full member of the Academy of Medical and Technical Sciences, Vladimir Nesterov. In the early 90s, Vladimir, just like me, like many doctors, having finished and worked in classical medicine for more than 10 years, having completed the relevant education, the Kalinin Institute noticed that the possibilities of classical medicine are limited in various amounts. Therefore, the 90s were the bloom of alternative medicine. Using the idea of NLS diagnostics, and taking as a basis the development of academician Svyatoslav Pavlovich Nesterov, who proposed the trigger sensor underlying the design, the Institute set about working on the NLS diagnostics medical device more than 25 years ago. While setting up this program, they combined the isolated areas of health science into the integrated program. That is, acupuncture, the Ayurvedic medicine, spins theory, chakra theory, herbal medicine, homeopathy. All of this was used in the program. That is, it was so multifunctional in its content. Over the years, 15 models of the device have been developed. All modifications and improvements took place within the scientific and technical base of the Institute and with the direct support of specialists from various fields of medicine. Doctors have already applied this methodology at the early stage. We have been greatly assisted in improving this method. High diagnostic accuracy was determined from 78 to 82%. Of particular importance were the victories of the team of the Institute at scientific conferences and symposia, where the critical thinking of physicists and classical doctors went into overdrive. The only way to show the reliability of this technique and convince them that it is effective is public diagnostics. People have already had the proven diagnoses. Seeing this client for the first time, we showed the reliability of this diagnosis. This convinced everyone, and first of all, our partners, that the system really works. It is necessary to be implemented in one way or another. Up to date, they are our partners. Hundreds of specialists in Russia and abroad, the best representatives of classical and alternative medicine, once decided on Metatron. Each of the doctors had their own reason to move to a new level of interaction with patients. Just imagine, a doctor got education, and he sees his organ and thinks that this organ is the most important in the body. It appears that not. There are no main organs. Our system works in a coordinated fashion. Each organ, performing its function, makes a contribution to human health. Comorbid patients with multi-organ chronic pathologies who suffer from several diseases at the same time come to us. It is important to determine the pathogenesis of the disease, its etiology, and choose treatment guidelines. And I realized that Metatron's technique meets all these requirements. Athletes very often ask me as a chiropractor and doctor in sports medicine a question that most doctors do not like. Why? Why did my back hurt? I didn't fall, didn't break anything, but my back hurts. Athletes, everything was fine, but the problems. Attempts to find the cause using classical diagnostic methods, MRI, often result in a situation where everything is fine. There is no problem. And what should the doctors in sports medicine do? In this case, there is no need to invent anything. And in this case, this nonlinear diagnostics helped me. This Metatron device, which I've been using for the last 14 years. I am the chief toxicologist of the Ministry of Health. I have worked for a very long time. I'm the head of the departments of toxicology and occupational pathology, and suddenly, I began to feel that I could not remove toxins from the body. The system does not work, and those schemes that have worked up to now, it is needless to say that then the following thought comes to my mind. It means that there are some internal causes that do not allow me to detoxify these toxins. The device opens such a huge overview of everything at once. Eyes, a scanner. As I always said before, I'm not a psychic medium. I need test results to understand. And there is this device. It is a psychic. It shines for me, and supposing that the same ultrasound to understand if there is a stone formation there. The same kidney problems. Overweight people often come and complain they are edematous. I have to understand what the edema comes from. Metatron has already been successfully used by practitioners, dieting experts, homeopaths, nutritionists, family doctors, psychologists, doctors in sports medicine, dry needling experts, chiropractors, osteopaths, kinesiologists, specialists working with Emitis devices, sanatoriums and healthcare centers, fitness and spa centers, medical clinics, centers for oriental medicine, imaging rooms, research centers, distributors of food supplements and herbal medicine products. The Metatron device is a unique patient examination room where the patient clearly sees the state of his body. Fast, safe, multifunctional, accurate, visually understandable for both the doctor and the patient, mobile and compact. With the help of trigger sensors, a volumetric scanning of all or selective systems of the body takes place, during which 12 different states of certain cells or tissues are displayed on the monitor screen using a special color-coded Flindler's scale, which allows a specialist already at this stage to determine problem areas for more detailed further study. The software also contains a section of alternative medicine, testing of the Chinese 14-paired meridians, Voll's system diagnostics, auricular diagnosis, concha of auricle, and iridiology, the iris of the eye. The identified foci and problem areas are studied by a specialist in some detail, an intelligent menu, and a visualization system for three-dimensional models of organs and tissues allow examining one or another organ to the extent of its subcellular and molecular structure, and the 4D tissue system allows you to see the lesion from any perspective necessary for the specialist. With the help of the Metatron device, it is possible to diagnose and track pathological conditions at the early stages of the disease, while there are still no clinical manifestations of the disease, and the frequency response characteristics of organs and tissues are already not intact or disharmonious. In addition to diagnostics, Metatron also corrects the state of the body with the help of bioresonance therapy, when with the help of nosototherapy and metatherapy, a signal is transmitted to the biological system about the resonant frequency of vibrations on which, in the normal state of all systems, organs, tissues, and cells, subcellular and molecular structures should function. If required, this information can be provided with destructive properties, tuning to a frequency that is destructive for various kinds of infectious agents, viruses, parasites, bacteria, etc. The method of nonlinear diagnostics either supports the integrative orientation of work within the body already existing for a specialist, when it is considered as a unified whole, or irreversibly changes it into this effective side for diagnostics and treatment. There are such cases. A child comes to me for an appointment, as to an ENT specialist with a rash, and it is difficult to immediately determine the etiology of this rash. There are different options, and in order to understand what right therapy to assign, either an observation period is required or you need to undergo expensive tests in any laboratory and confirm it. I immediately take such children, and within 10 to 15 minutes, the device gives a clue to what kind of virus there is, what kind of infectious agent there is. Moreover, it also immediately selects causal therapy for this virus. That is, it selects which drug is better suited to this particular child. When you conduct research and show what the patient has, where it started, where it came from, of course, patients only respond with gratitude. We are in Sochi and Moscow and St. Petersburg. Residents who are looking for this study come to us. We already feel that it is becoming more famous and highly sought. There are no more unclear diagnoses, illegible medical prescriptions, unpredictable future. The patient realizes the interconnection of his actions and their impact on his health. He has a desire to change his lifestyle. We now have about 50% more opportunities to receive patients. When a person wants to get an appointment and we say, sorry, we have the next appointment in 3 to 4 weeks, this of course upsets the patient, and it was not very convenient for us. Here, our patient capacity in commercial terms has increased significantly. For large, medium, small private clinics, very important is the return rate, the percentage of patients returned and regular patients. We have carried out approximate statistics so far over the past pandemic year. We have about 80% of patients returned. The device helps me save time, money for the client. It allows me to keep clients forever because in their eyes, I am a specialist. But in fact, any specialist working on this device, whether he is an endocrinologist, expert on integrative medicine, or whether he has subspecialization, he has great opportunities to become a top-class specialist in his field, which will be provided with clients for life. Another powerful boost that the owners of the unique diagnostic system received is vast gratitude of customers, and as a result, positive changes in business processes and improved financial performance. When our patient sees what he has and sees how it can be changed and what can be changed, he says right after leaving the doctor, book the return visit to the doctor. Thanks to this equipment, the patient came out and he realized that he would be fully helped here. They will help him figure out absolutely any of his reasons. Moreover, they will select all the full treatment, and the clinic, having this equipment, can save a lot of doctors. Well, first of all, it is, of course, the image of the clinic and the patients who came here and who saw the opportunities. Bring everyone they know, whom they recommend, that is, your clinic will flourish. Metatron is popular and understood in many countries of the world, not only for its unique medical characteristics, but also due to the tremendous job of the Institute in conducting clinical trials and certification according to the main quality criteria and criteria of safety of medical equipment in the countries of its presence. The Institute is the owner of International Quality Certificate ISO 13485, industry standard for manufacturers of medical devices, the mark of compliance with the European Union standards for the safety of goods and products for human health and the environment CE, mark of compliance with the U.S. Department of Health regulations for the safety of food, drugs, and medical devices, FDA, and many other documents confirming the safety and effectiveness. The hardware systems Metatron, approved by the World Medical Association, are already successfully operating in 50 countries. This means that the patients of these countries have the opportunity to get an opinion of specialists of a new level, focused on the health of their nation based on the path of medicine developed, adopted in their territory. The uniqueness of this method is the screening of pre-nosological functional states on the resonance basis, and in this context, it is very much used by our doctors in China, Singapore, and Japan, that is Southeast Asia. precisely as a health device, as a device for prevention, which we declare is very widely used thanks to our partners. Hideki Kawamoto is one of the most dedicated partners of the Institute of Practical Psychophysics. He oversaw the clinical research of Metatron for several years and made a balanced and unconditional decision to work with it in Japan. Currently, the attention of many scientists and medical workers is focused on preventative medicine and the pre-nosological form of the disease. We call Metatron the Complete Future Examination System. The device has a very important function of detecting a disease before it manifests itself in the body, and of course, it helps to really understand what changes are taking place at the cellular level. With the help of Metatron, the doctor can finally identify the cause of the changes and disease. Dr. Nacho Martinez is the first in Latin America to start working on Metatron. He is very pleased with the results and regularly posts inspiring videos about the device on his Facebook page. If a person comes with sciatica, migraine, hypothyroidism, or other hormonal problems, I conduct a study for 15 minutes, determine the cause of the condition, and prescribe constructive treatment. The cause of dysfunctions of some organs is sometimes the patient's emotional state, anger, disappointment, harm. With the help of Metatron, we can identify the real cause. I am very passionate about what I'm doing, in love with this diagnostic method. Dr. Raisa Rafikova has been living in Spain for many years, and she is a family doctor who attends an emergency with a life-saving suitcase of Russian equipment. I live and work most of all in Spain, but I have a lot of patients from Great Britain, Canada, America, and Germany. I have a huge number of patients in Russia, and I often come to Moscow. And it does not matter in what system we work, the standards that exist are registered according to the international standards. This is why this equipment has a certification of conformity in each individual region, the corresponding certification as a medical complex. There are even allergens, viral infections, biochemical indicators. They are registered in accordance with international standards. At the moment, there is software for the markets of the most important partner countries of the Institute: Europe, Methopatia Hospital, Japan, Oriental Holistic, China, Golden Dragon, India, Prana. Programs for working with patients in these countries include all the elements and features of their medicine, medicinal, and natural preparations, and food. These people who have entered this system are people, fresh thinking. They can be pioneers in some directions, accept an innovation that has no analogs, and implement it. And I am very grateful to the system for defining my circle of contacts with unique people. The technology developed by the Institute of Practical Psychophysics is actively developing, and it not only meets the challenges of modernity, but also anticipates them. 4 years ago, the Intruder program was created and continues to improve. We were still talking about the pan-resistance of the microbial flora to various antibiotics, and this program is now successfully used by doctors in Mexico and Japan to determine the focus of infection, a virulence factor, and the pathogenicity of the microbial flora. In a world unstable situation, it is very important to pay attention to the psycho-emotional state of a person, the connection between the psyche and the body. With the help of Metatron, the doctor introduces the patient to his leading emotions that affect his life and health taken as a whole. About 7 years ago, we created the base of the standard of emotions, 82 wave spectra that correspond to a particular emotion. And this allows us to determine the emotional status, which today, judging by Ayurvedic medicine, is the fundamental beginning of any disease program. As a traditional laser surgeon, I only dealt with laser surgery. This device forced me to engage in psycho-emotional correction. These are Bach flowers, which are presented in the Metatron device. This is homeopathy. I had to complete the Bach flowers courses in kinesiology and tests. At the moment, the capabilities of the equipment allow us to move further and further. General changes begin with each of us, and And if we speak in the context of the interconnection of all our systems and its individual components, the doctor-patient connection can be infusive force, thanks to trust to life and not to fear of illness. Interaction with a competent, responsible specialist whose code of work includes constant self-development, a positive lifestyle, and thinking, an unconditional desire to help the patient using professional curiosity and creativity, opens the door for the patient to a new world of health medicine. Medicine, the basis of which is the relationship between the patient and the doctor, and technology works for the manifestations of the soul and body and not vice versa. This is a world where a professional is ready to overstep the limits of his understanding, finding freedom in the space of options, which Metatron helps to see.